Good morning, everyone. My name is Akiva Gottlieb. I'm the content lead at Gamma. The Gamma team, we are mostly based on the West Coast of the US, but I know we have people here from all over. So let us know in the chat where you're calling from today. Um, we definitely have a mix of folks today. I think we have some power users whose names I recognize. We probably have some people who have never used Gamma before. So I wanted to get started by firstly, showing off our new brand, but also introducing you to our mission, which is helping people bring their ideas to life. Our vision is to provide access to the best tools so that anyone can share their ideas effortlessly. And I think the question that kind of animates everything we do here at Gamma is what if creation felt like pure imagination? Um, Hopefully, it starts to feel that way for all of you. If it doesn't, please use Gamma more in your everyday workflow. But today is a very special day. You are attending what I believe is our first ever global public event. So we're still figuring out how the chat works. Definitely looking to do a lot more of these. But someday you'll be able to tell the story to people of being at the first ever Gamma event, and they'll either not believe you or they'll be really impressed. Maybe you can take a screenshot to prove it. But yeah, I believe this is the first ever global public event. So thank you for being here. Let me quickly introduce today's team. I'm Akiva Gottlieb, the content lead. Allison Bemis is our product designer. She has worked at Gamma for 4 years, and so she's going to lead the product deep dive today. And then Amanda Rothbard is our community manager. You should see her in today's chat. She has a lot of plans to help scale our community program beyond just this first event. Um, so yeah, if you have any questions in the chat, Amanda is here. I will be there once I'm not sharing my screen. Today's agenda. Firstly, keep in mind that we are recording this, and this is my reminder to just make sure that's the case. It seems to be. We plan to email it to you afterwards. So the first part has already started, my quick intro. Then Allison is going to provide an overview of some consultant use cases, and then move on to the bulk of the presentation, which is going to be a live Gamma build. We're going to reserve about 15 minutes for Q&A, so please share your questions using Zoom's Q&A feature. We can hopefully get those answered towards the end of this event. Then I'll come back and leave you with some takeaways. This power hour should last an hour. It's right there in the name. So yeah, let's get started. So given that Gamma has over 50 million users across a wide variety of fields, you may be wondering why our first Power Hour is focused on consultants. Through talking to customers, we found that our product is actually uniquely well suited to the way that consultants do their work. And I know there may be 50 million consultants out there, but many of them are using Gamma. So tell us in the chat if you recognize yourself in this description. So we've learned that professional consultant is someone who creates a lot of content regularly, often presents to an audience other than themselves, and their success on the job is really dependent on the quality of their content. So some pain points we've definitely noticed: time constraints, lack of design skills, unless you are specifically running a design consultancy, a real need and desire for polished and consistent output, and then just a lot of repetitive tasks, and creating decks is often one of them. And then why consultants use Gamma? We've really seen three sort of overarching primary reasons. One is speed and efficiency. So, no more fiddling with pixels if you're not a designer. You can produce multiple client deliverables quickly, which Allison's going to talk about. And then you may not know this, but we have 20 plus AI models running in the background to give you the best results. We are constantly making optimizations to those so you don't have to tweak it yourself. The second big reason is all-in-one creation. You can create presentations, sites, social prompts, docs, all from one interface and one prompt. Maintaining professional branding across all deliverables, we know is super important for a lot of consultants. And then the last one, creative flexibility. Gamma allows you to present your material in ways that traditional slide formats can't always accommodate. And then, of course, we realize that sometimes you do need that output as a PowerPoint, as a PDF. gammas are easily exportable that way as well. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Allison, our product designer of many, many years, who's going to start by introducing some consultant use cases.
Hi, thanks for the intro, Kiva. I'm actually gonna start by introducing myself again. Like Kiva said, I'm a product designer here at Gamma. I've worked here for a long time, and one of the things that I've found the most rewarding and the most fun is helping people get to know what Gamma can do and like how Gamma can accelerate them and their work. Because I found it so sad when we were starting that so many people felt like they were being limited and constrained in their career by how their ideas looked. That just felt like such a foolish reason for people to like not be like hitting the goals that they wanted. So that's why I'm really excited to share Gamma with you today. Um, I'm going to start out by just giving you a sort of overview of what Gamma can do, and then we're going to, oh wait, one second. Um, And then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into some more advanced functionality. And when I say advanced, I don't mean complicated. I just mean more powerful um, to hopefully help you guys create what you need with Gamma. Um, so to start off with, we are going to try out the generate flow. This is what I always recommend if you're just kind of getting started with Gamma, if you're not really sure what it can make, or maybe you don't have a specific project. So it's perfect for like a one-line prompt, a silly idea. We have example prompts. They range from sort of more whimsical to a little bit more like practical. But I would love to hear some ideas for like a pitch deck. So I think that's always a nice place to get started. Um, do we have any ideas in the chat for a fun pitch deck we could make for a business? Um, ooh, rollerblading rink. Okay, for a rollerblading rink. Um, So after I hit generate, Gamma is just going to make me an outline. This step is to fill out some more of the content, flesh out your idea, and once it's done generating it, you can give it a little once over, edit it if you need to. So let's say like roller skating market is actually growing like way more. I don't know what that number means, but that sounds big. I can drag these around. That'll reorder the slides, and then go down here and pick the visuals. So we'll get more into this later. But in Gamma, the way that you control the visuals and the look and feel is the theme. We have a lot of standard themes just pre-installed into your workplace. So you don't have to worry about like building this yourself. But when you're ready to add your brand, it's pretty easy to do. So I think a rollerblading rink is a really fun thing. So let's go for something colorful. Um, and I'm gonna choose this one. Okay. We have a couple more settings here. And again, I'll go into this more later, but for now, I'm just gonna hit generate and we're gonna watch our pitch deck appear. So this usually takes like 30 seconds or so. And what I like to tell people is the best way to think about what the generator gives you is a really specific template or an amazing first draft. You're definitely going to have to like do a little bit of tweaking and editing of this just to make it really personal to you, really specific to you. Because obviously that is where the best like pitches and demos come from. That like place of specificity. But you can see we have a full pitch deck in like just a few seconds. So um, a couple other things to like note here. When you're ready to present, you can add presenter notes by clicking on the top right of the card right here. And if you don't know what you want to say, Gamma can give you some ideas and we'll write some up for you. You can go into presenter view, which, ooh, I may have showed my screen wrong for that. But you're just gonna have to trust me that there is a presenter window that just popped up. Um, and you can navigate through with your arrow keys. So I'm just hitting my right arrow key now. Or you can hit the space bar like you're used to in PowerPoint. And a feature that I really like and that gets a lot of love is spotlight mode. So if you have ever noticed your audience like drifting off and reading ahead while you're presenting, spotlight is the way to prevent that from happening. And I say that as like I'm self-owned because I do that all the time. If there's content available on a slide to read, I will read it and I will not be listening to the thing the person is saying. So to turn on Spotlight, you can either hit S on your keyboard or you can click this button. Either way works, but it just blurs out all of the content that's ahead and focuses on whatever you're talking about in that moment. So again, really great way to just focus your audience and prevent me, from getting distracted while you're talking. Um, okay, so that's a pitch deck. Let's make a quick landing page. So I love another suggestion here. Um, so let's make a personalized landing page for a client who, what does our client do? I think I saw a suggestion earlier um, that, oh, a coffee shop. Um, runs a coffee shop. I like that one because I was actually a barista in my previous career. Um, okay, so this is kind of what makes the outline feature nice is I can see that it didn't quite get what I wanted. This is just like a website for a coffee shop, basically. So um, let's change it a little bit and say a personalized consulting landing page or a consulting landing page.
Maybe it's like business consulting for
Yeah, a business, thank you.
yeah,
Consulting landing page for a new
coffee
client
shop.
who
Yeah.
runs a coffee shop. Perfect. Um, yeah, prompting, iteration. Okay, so this again looks a little bit more like just a coffee shop, like business consulting uh webpage, but we're just gonna go with it because uh we have more fun stuff to get to later. So a coffee shop, so I'm gonna go with like brown or something. And I think this looks pretty nice. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We'll keep the same settings as before. Um, and in a couple seconds, we will have our website. So we've already seen it streaming. It is magical, and I do love watching it every time. But while our content is building, I'm going to point a few things out to you. So on the left side here, we have what's called the film strip. This works pretty much like the slide navigator that you're used to in other tools. You can select cards in here, drag to rearrange them. If you right click, there's options for like exporting, moving them to other presentations, deleting, hiding, and you can move multiple at a time if you shift click. So that'll be like your main way to navigate the deck itself. If you want to add anything, there's a couple ways to do that. So on the insert bar right here, you can browse through it and just sort of see what there is. There's a lot of different media and content types for you to choose from, and you can search in here as well. So let's say I want like a bar chart. I can search for that. The way that our power users use Gamma, and this is how all of the internal staff use it as well, is by using the slash menu. So you may have seen this in like Notion if you use Notion. But if you hit slash and just start typing, the exact same things are going to show up. So this is just a much faster way of getting to the same content. So once you're a little bit more familiar with Gamma and what the blocks are, you can use the slash menu to just like honestly 10, 20x how fast you can make things. Um, and the last like cool thing to call out here for the consultant use cases is we have a ambassador, that's what we call our like ambassador power user group, who launched a whole course in Gamma. And when I started working here, this was like right after our seed round, and we had like no users. And so the idea of someone making like a whole course in Gamma, and like sort of building their business off of it was that wasn't even something that was like on my mind. So this is the coolest thing ever. So shout out Emily. Um, Okay, so like I mentioned before, Generate is really great for getting started. It's really great for sort of playing around with ideas. But when you're ready to pull in your real content, we have a couple different flows for that. So if you have an existing PowerPoint, PDF, like doc, even like a URL import, you can do that during our using our import flow. Um, and then for any sort of text that you have that you're ready to use. So maybe these are like notes from an intro call, or an outline that you made in like Claude or ChatGPT. You can just paste that in here. So I am going to show you a flow that I know a lot of our users, our power users use, and maybe you already do this. A lot of people that we've talked to will go to ChatGPT or go to Claude, um, whichever one is their sort of preferred, and they're sort of relying on the information that these tools already have about them. So we are thinking about ways to like personalize your experience and like make things much more specific to like your needs and your business. But for now, this is like a good way to leverage the tool that already has it. So I'm going to ask Claude to make an outline deck introducing a consultancy called Thought Leader Launchpad, which it does branding for like influencers, LinkedIn, thought leaders. Um, and now I have a whole outline. Um, Claude and ChatGPT know how to break things out into outlines. They actually know about Gamma. So you can ask, and I have seen people format their requests to like Claude or ChatGPT to like make a Gamma outline specifically, which again, like it just like blew my mind when I saw that. So I can just paste this in, hit presentation, and then keep going. And now I'm in a slightly different editor. So this is our more advanced prompt editor. There's a little bit more like power and like configuration that you can do in here. So this is perfect for, I think, a lot of the work that all of you are doing, um, because it lets you get more targeted in, for example, your audience. So you can plug that in right here, and your tone. So let's see. I'm gonna edit this and say like right for um like experienced professionals who are having a hard time monetizing their knowledge. There's a couple other modes, so you can also condense the text. So this is good for if you have sort of like long paragraphs of text, right? And you just need to like chop it, but you want to mainly keep what's there. Or preserve, which will attempt to just keep the content exactly as is. Because of the changes that we make to the format, it's not possible to just always preserve it one to one. So there will be a little bit of change, but we're for the most part going to retain everything and try not to like rewrite it. Um, I like the tone, so I'm just gonna keep that. And then the AI images is like one of the fun parts. So we have a bunch of different image sources for you to choose from. You can, of course, like upload your own later on. But when you're generating, you can do like stock images, web images. We have some illustration libraries. If you have specific like brand images that you need to use, or maybe you just don't want images at all, like that's an option too. And everyone's favorite is kind of AI images because they're a lot of fun. Um, you can plug in a style, and that will like make all of your images have a more similar like look and feel. So let's say um, like abstract illustrations, and we'll go like sleek and like modern. And I personally am a big fan of Recraft vector illustrations. I'm going to do that for now, but we have a bunch of different AI image models. We're always um, experimenting with adding new ones to the product. So I definitely recommend checking out everything we have here. The advanced models are for our plus tier and pro, and then the premium models are for pro only. So that's just something to know. But even the free ones are pretty good. Um, I am making a presentation, so I'm just going to keep that. And then we'll come back to the additional instructions later. But if there's anything else that you want to put in the prompt but not have be part of the content, this is where you would put that. So I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to choose a theme. Um, Audience, do we have any thoughts or feelings on the visuals here. Do we like a light or dark, a color, not so colorful? Um, like I said, we have a lot of options of themes, so there's a lot of different choices here. This is the fun part and the hard part. Okay, we have some dark, dark themes. Let's take a look. Um, what about, let's do night sky. Okay, so now we are getting our pitch deck or our deck introducing Thought Leader Launchpad. So you can see, like, again, we're streaming in. Let me show you how well, this happened. Sorry, just moving my Zoom UI. I'm going to show you how to like share and export your work. So we have a share button right up here. You can click it. If you want to collaborate with other people, you can add their emails here. And if you have other people in your workspace, you're just going to want to change the workspace permissions so that everyone can see it. Um, if you just want to send it to people to look at, um, you can do that with this link, and you can even set a password on it. So I can type in like power hour, set that. And then I'm actually just gonna send this to you guys in the chat. You can take a look. The fun part of live demos. Um, we have a few different export options as well. So whether you need it in like a PDF or a PowerPoint form, we can do that. And you can also post directly to LinkedIn, and we'll get back to that in a little bit. Um, One thing to know is that if you end up uploading custom fonts or you're using a theme with fonts that you don't have, you might need to install them. We do list them here. All of our standard themes come with Google Fonts or like open source fonts that you can get easily, but just something to note. 'Cause it will look different if you don't have these. So now we have our deck, and let's just take a look and see what we got here. Oh, this is a fun image. Um, Wow, I love AI text. Okay. So we've got a bunch of different layouts. We've got a chart. Like this is actually pretty good. Very moody. And some next steps. So let's start by actually building out a brand for this company. So there's a couple different ways to make a theme. And the nice thing about themes is that they can be reused across decks in Gamma. So if you make one theme, you basically have all of your content covered. So if I go over to um, one of the other things that we made, right, like this roller blading rink, I can go here, go to night sky, which is the same thing that we have over there, change it, and now the look and feel has totally changed. So this is also great if you work with other people. So maybe you have coworkers or employees, um, just set your brand's theme as the default. All of their stuff will get created in it by default, and you don't have to worry about them using the right template anymore. So highly recommend. But the way you're going to go about this is you can either hit new theme and go through the theme builder. We also have an import functionality and you can start from scratch, but I am a little lazy and I like to save time. So usually I'll just go here, choose one that I think looks kind of close to what I'm looking for, um, and then customize it. So since we started out with a dart, I'm gonna go for a light one. And I'll start with pearl. So now we're in the theme editor, and I usually recommend to people to switch to current page because then you can see the changes being applied on the content that you're already working with. So I'll rename this to TLL and then start plugging in my colors. So we're gonna give it this like green, like brand color, and then I also have a couple of other like shades of green to complement it. Um, And the way that we use these accent colors is applying them to some of the blocks and layouts. So you can see those colors showing up here. Um, and then we make them available in the color palette inside of the editor. So you can apply them to text or you can apply them individually to different layouts. I'm going to change the card background to this and then make the page background a little different as well. Okay, so we have like a nice little green situation going on here. You can upload your brand font pretty easily. So you can click here to get to the font upload page. And it's also on your dashboard right down here. The one thing to note is that if you do upload a font while you're creating a theme, you're just gonna have to save this, refresh, and then like reopen it just to make sure the theme loads in. Um, but we also have just a curated set of like really nice Google fonts in here for you to use. So hopefully that takes out some of the decision making. And maybe we already have your font. Um, so I'll change that here and upload my logo. The logo will be used in a couple places, so it'll be visible while you're presenting. And then you can also it'll show up in the bottom left when you're scrolling. So if you just send the link to someone, and you can also use it in the card headers and footers. So if you have a pro subscription, that feature is available and they will show up in the body of every card. So I'm just customizing it right now. So it looks pretty different to what we started with. Um, and let's see, I'll just pick this. Um, And one of my favorite things is to get this like color rotation effect here. Um, so I'm just gonna edit that, get rid of some of these colors. Um, okay. And now I think we have something that like looks pretty nice. And it didn't take that long. Um, One last thing to note is that if you have brand images, any sort of image asset that you use a lot, I would recommend putting them in accent images. Then they'll be available to use in any Gamma that uses this theme, so you don't have to keep re-uploading them. And if you have like an image style that you want to be usable on the theme, um, you put that here. So this theme uses like a lot of greens and like emeralds, so I'm just gonna put that and save it. And now our page looks totally different. But you will notice that the images don't really match now. And so there's a couple different ways that I could approach that. I could go click on the image and then change it to the theme and regenerate it. So that's one way. So now it'll match the visual style. I could ask AI to edit it for me in a couple ways. So this will edit the entire card. And if I click on this, I can chat with AI to edit only this image. Um, sorry, Zoom UI strikes again. So I could say like, yeah, like make it more colorful or change the person's pose. I'll do change the person pose. Um, so it'll make that change. If I need to edit the entire deck at once, I would do that by clicking on the sparkle in the top right corner. So this is a pro only feature, but it's very, very useful. One thing I really find critical here is the translate functionality. So if you have like multiple audiences in different languages that you want to have content for, like translate is like the best. Um, but for now, I'm going to ask it to regenerate all the images using the current theme style and recraft vector illustration. That's going to take a minute. So while it thinks, I am going to go back into the prompt editor. So to get here, I hit view source prompt. Um, and let's turn this into a social media carousel to post on LinkedIn. To turn this deck into a LinkedIn carousel. Um, we can change it up a little bit and let's go with GPT image. We're just gonna flip the format to social and it is already on Square. Perfect. Um, let's add the word like provocative. into the tone since it's LinkedIn and we want a little like rage bait here. And we'll make it brief because nobody reads anymore. Um, so now instead of picking one of these themes, I'm gonna just type in TLL, generate, and it'll generate using the theme that we just made. So like I said earlier, you can export like directly to LinkedIn. So if I click on this and then just type in my little, you know, LinkedIn bullet points, and then hit post, then I can just have this on LinkedIn in like just a couple seconds. So uh, here we go. Oh, I think it used the wrong image source. That's okay. It happens. AI. Oh, just kidding. We got it. Great. It just decided to do an accent image here. That's fine. Um, so yeah, now we have a carousel that is like basically ready to go. I can do a couple things. So I don't really like how this looks stacked up like this. This is called a smart layout. Um, these are really, really useful. They are a bunch of different visualized layouts, um, and you can switch between them really easily depending on what you need. Um, but I'm just going to edit this so that all the numbers show up like more like this if it's a little better. And then if you have ever decided, oh, wow, amazing. So if you've ever been like editing a slide, right, and you're like, ooh, actually, I think I want this image on the left. You'll know that that is not a simple task, obviously, in a traditional slide editor. So we have built cards to make it super, super easy to do this swap. So instead of having to like click and drag over all these boxes and then drag them over, and then one of the boxes like is the wrong size now, and like everything's messed up, and you just wish you left the image on the right, um, you can just change it with like one click. Super easy. Um, okay, so for one of my last tricks, I have a couple tricks up my sleeve here. Um, well, we just saw LinkedIn carousel, so I'll move on a little bit. But one thing that you could do, right, is go to Claude, ask it to make you like a social media content calendar, and then just like drop all of those PDFs in and have Gamma create these carousels for you. And like just in a few minutes, like you have your whole like week of content planned. Um, so the last couple of things I'm going to do are take these notes from an intro call with a like fictional CEO founder. I'm going to paste them in here and make two things. The first one is going to be a like detailed proposal. Oh, uh, live demos. Um, so first I'm going to ask Gamma to make me a detailed proposal. So I am going to do that. We're writing for Marcus Chen, like CEO and co-founder of TechFlow Analytics. This is a proposal, so we're going to be detailed, and also because it's a proposal, I don't really think we need images. Um, and I think we're good here. So, oh, I missed a T. So I'm gonna hit continue, go to TLL, generate. Um, and while that's working, I'm gonna go back to the source prompt and also make a personalized landing page. Um, we will get AI images this time and turn it into a web page. So I'm just going to ask Gamma to split up the content for me, um, and like make the best decision. Oh no, I misspelled tech flow. Critical error. Um, and while it is splitting, oh, perfect, it's done. So one thing is that you can set the default theme for the workspace. I think I said this earlier. That's why I'm choosing it every time because I haven't done that here, but that is what I would recommend for all of you. Okay, so let's check on the proposal. It looks like we're still generating, but we can jump to the top and sort of see what we got. So we have this proposal for Marcus Chen of Techflow Analytics. This is based on the intro call notes right here. So you can see he's saying like, I'm already working 70-hour work weeks. And we have a lot of information about how we at Thought Leader Launchpad can help him. Um, One thing that I think will just like take this, to the next level is if I personalize it a little bit more. So I'm going to put my logo in the left, and let's grab Marcus's logo on the right, and then I'll put the page number in the top right. So now you can see every single card has my logo, his logo, and the page logo. And even though I chose pageless initially, I actually think I want the cards to show. So I'm going to choose default, and now they're all in that format that we saw before. I'm going to get rid of yeah, I'll make this a card as well. And this change the background color to be a little bolder. And do it really quickly so that I don't go over my time and Akiva can be happy with me. Um, Let me change this to, whoops. Let me grab you this share link and you guys can take a look at this as well. Here we go. And then we'll flip back over to the site. So once again, we have a personalized landing page for Marcus Chen. So now I have my pitch deck, um, my detailed proposal, and my landing page so I can go out and like have better conversations with him. Um, Once you have your page, your landing page, like your site created, there's a couple different ways to like bring it online. So we give you a like free domain by default. This is perfect for like staging your content, like practicing, getting it ready. You can bring in your own domain or like buy one through us, and then modify like some of the core site information in here as well. So I'm gonna hit publish. And I have another link to share with you guys in just a second. Um, and I always love demoing this because I think it's just so fun to be able to like make a site in front of people, send the actual published link, and like have everyone play with it. Um, so a couple more things that might be useful for you guys to know about Gamma is that you can embed almost like anything. Like if it can be embedded into an iframe, you can bring it into Gamma. So if you want to bring like social media embeds, maybe you have like examples of like clients like social media posts that you want to share. Um, you want to have your form or like a video, like a YouTube video. Um, you can totally do that. We don't have form functionality built out natively yet. It's something that we want to do, but we're a very small team, so a little resource constrained sometimes. Um, so the best way we would recommend doing this is by just embedding like a type form or a Google form. Um, so I just dropped that form in, and now my audience, here, I'll republish this and you guys can see it live. Um, so once you see the green thing at the top, you can just refresh. Yeah, so you can refresh the link I sent you now, and you should be able to see this form at the bottom. So my audience can just type in whatever in here. So this is the best way to do like a contact form. But then again, like if you wanted to put in like maybe a YouTube video, like I can just type /YouTube and embed that as well. Maybe you have like a personalized like video that you've made for them or a Loom. This is how you would do that. Just paste that video in and they can just play it, hit play. Um, so I think that's the bulk of the stuff I have for you. I will
Yeah,
also be answering your questions. Did I
we
miss
have
anything,
perfect
Kiva?
timing. Oh, sorry. Thank you,
Great.
Allison. To turn to Q&A. I know we're getting a lot of questions in the chat. We've not been able to answer everything, but we'll definitely get to a few of them now. A few people are saying, where is the link? She
Oh,
dropped the links in the chat. It probably just, the chat is busy, so there's a link there. Amanda, can you share some questions from the group?
Yeah, let's start with William's question because I think this is one that we see quite a bit. But one of the questions is too often I create gammas and the AI images don't show diversity. And so
Mhm.
this doesn't change even if you change the prompt. And so this is like more of a feature request, but if we have any tips on prompting AI images to show like more diversity or like image models, I think that's what William was getting at with this question.
Yeah, totally. That's a great question, and it's something that has come up before, and that we always are trying to like do things to mitigate this. We use like third-party image models, right? And so to some extent, we're kind of constrained by what like they do and their training data. Um, some things that I've found to be helpful, like a lot of it does come down to prompting. Um, I would be curious, feel free to drop this in the chat or like maybe put another like Q&A thing. I'd be curious to know what models that you're seeing this with, or if it's something like across models. Um, Typically what I will do is like write out specifically like what I'm looking for. So I mean, you may have even noticed like while we're generating here, right? There's a lot of like men in these images um of like leadership, right? And that was like something that I was hoping wouldn't happen when I did this, but like again, we're sort of constrained by the bias in the training data set. Um, but I think it feels weird and uncomfortable, but you kind of just have to be very explicit demographically about what you want sometimes. Um, and then the AI can typically do it, but yeah, that's kind of the best suggestion I have here is to just be really explicit, like a diverse group of leaders, like standing at a table or something. Um, yeah, so I would say that the free models also suffer from this a little bit more. The more advanced ones tend to be better at handling this. Um, yeah, sorry about the implicit bias in society. Well, that's a diverse group of men, so.
Okay.
Um,
Amanda, what else do we have?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so next question. This was a question from Carmen. I think it was when you were generating the gamma, but I think Carmen was wondering about when you when you import something, does the file have to be in PDF format or could it be in other formats?
we have a couple of different options. So we can do PDFs, PowerPoints, Word docs, um, the same formats, but from your Google Drive, and then URLs. Certain URLs work better than others. Anything that's looks more like a blog post will work better than something that's like highly visual and graphical. Um, we tend to be better at pulling in like text versus like visuals and graphics.
Right on. Awesome. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Another question was about when you're presenting, but the content is taking up more space than the screen size, can we make or can we keep slides to be a certain size?
Yeah, totally. So let's try that here. So you can see actually this is like too long. So I can do a couple things. One of them is turn on scale to fit. Uh, Sorry, more zoomy eye in the way. So I can choose traditional 16 by 9 and then turn on scale content to fit. And now it'll just kind of like snap all the content inside. When you go to present, we can do some additional scaling. So you saw before that was like definitely going off the slide, and now it's all like fit in there. Um, and then, for this specifically, I would probably stack this up into like 3 columns. But you know, yeah, scale to fit. You also have some additional like zoom level settings within present mode.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving on. Let's see. This is like, I think more of an accessibility question. This is from an anonymous
Mhm.
attendee, but it's with the colors. Is there an option to check color WCAG compliance for readability?
Um, s- we actually have that checked by default. So you're gonna have to turn that off if you don't want it. But if you just scroll down a little bit in the colors, and you'll see this accessibility part that says adjust colors for contrast. So this is not by default. If you need to turn it off, you can. This is mostly necessary for specific shades of like orange and yellow, which can be tricky no matter what.
Awesome. Okay, a question from Luke. Can you embed SCORM files into a website?
Ooh, great question. I don't think I've tried that. Uh, let me see. I'm not sure. Let's get back to you on that.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I can actually,
Hillary, who's also here, might have a better answer for that.
right, good point. We actually have I can actually just answer this one really quick. Ian asked, can we integrate Stripe as a payment gateway onto sites? And I'm pretty sure that's a feature request. Is that right?
Yeah, we don't have that integration yet. We typically, when people have created content like paywalled content in Gamma, they'll create the content, password protect it, um, take the payment through another platform, and then like send the link with the password afterward.
Awesome. Great. And then Christoph asked, is it possible to change the size of the logo?
In the header footer, that is not something that's possible now. It's something we are thinking about doing. This is a very new feature. When I say new, I mean like it's maybe a month old. Um, so that was just something that wasn't implemented in the first version, but it's definitely one of the top requests. So we're working on it.
Right on. And then there's a question that says, how can we add notes to our script?
To like for speaker notes or uh
I assume they
because
mean
you
speaker
can
notes.
okay, cool. So you can just click on add notes in the top right corner. It should be in every card. And then you can just type whatever you want here, or have Gamma generate the notes for you. Um, and then when you're ready to present, you're just gonna click on this and then hit presenter view. Presenter view also shows up as an option like afterwards. So these will pop up in a little window separately, just like Google Slides or PowerPoint, and then you can view them on screen.
Awesome. Okay. Another question. Any chance that the landing page can be exported so that it can be uploaded to my current site? I guess it would have to be exported in HTML.
Yeah, we don't have that yet, sorry. But it has been requested.
Right on. Okay, I'm looking in the chat. Let's see. Akiva, was there anything that you saw that you wanted to?
Yeah, we had one question from Adela asking about image use given our third-party image models. Does that mean all images generated by Gamma have been cleared for public use, no copyright infringement? I'm assuming the answer is no there.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was this? What's the
Um,
question?
do we guarantee that all images generated by Gamma have been cleared for public use?
Generated by Gamma. Um, uh, they should be. There's a couple different image sources. So well, I'll just go in here. So AI images, I think should be, but let me double check. Um, web image search may like yield some that aren't. And then Unsplash is open source. So for the most part, yes. There maybe if you're using web search, no, but I think yes. But I
We
think we
also
should have like a help article. You can reach out to support for a more specific and accurate answer.
we also had a question from Alicia, who said, I've had some challenges generating graphics from numerical data. instead of
Mm.
preparing a graphic, it always tends to produce a text with icons. How did you manage to do it in this proposal?
Okay, so when you say graphic, um, let's see, is it this one? Just to clarify. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
please
So
assist. Yeah.
yeah, so this is a chart. So we have some native chart functionality in Gamma. So you can create one of these by typing slash chart, and then import, like put your own data in. Gamma will create some of them, like generate some of them by default. Um, but if you want to change something into a chart, let's see, what would work for a chart? Probably none of these, but we'll just try something. You could ask AI to like turn this into a chart, this layout. I don't know if it's gonna do it because this doesn't actually make sense to be a chart, so I might get confused. But we'll see.
One last question before I do uh
Oh, it did make a chart.
share a few more things. Last question from Moksh. Wanted to check on the question about the data that gets shared on the macro environment or the market opportunity. Is there a way to know what that's referencing?
We like citations. We don't have citations built in yet. Um, you can, okay, let's see. Um, Never mind. This was not
But I
something
would just
that
say
was
the best
actually a
practice is
launch
definitely
feature, but
always to check your work and do your own research, and
yeah,
treat everything generated as a, first draft.
yeah, definitely. And some of the models we do pull in from the web and we do search the web for certain things, but yes, always double check. Basically, if there's a number, like it's should definitely be double checked.
Cool. I know we just have 5 minutes left. Can I share my screen again, Allison?
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. It's been fun.
Firstly,
Thanks for the
thank you
great
so
questions.
much. I have just a few takeaways for y'all, if you can hang on another minute. So firstly, coming out of this, our first event, there are three things that I would love for you to try in Gamma today, if you haven't already. The first one is posting directly to LinkedIn, which is a relatively new feature for us. Again, the way to do this is to create a social carousel, then go to share, hit export. You'll see all these options, and then now you'll see the option of posting directly to LinkedIn. I will tell you that if you do that, and if you decide to tag Gamma, you will hopefully get an automatic 10 likes from Gamma staffers, because we love to see our stuff out there in the wild. But anyway, please just try out this feature. I know all consultants are looking to build their brand and get their work out there. Posting directly to LinkedIn saves you a step. Another one, this is something I've been playing around with a lot, also a relatively new feature, just editing and animating an image with AI. Just a reminder there, it doesn't have to be an AI generated image. Like you can have an image of Albert Einstein or whoever, and ask the AI to animate that. In order to do this, you just double click on any image, hit the Ask AI, and you can suggest your edits in the chat. So yeah, animate this image. The last thing, if you're not already, follow Gamma on LinkedIn and YouTube. People who followed us on LinkedIn heard about this event before anyone. We had things capped at 500, so a lot of people got put on the wait list. If you want to keep up with the latest and greatest on Gamma, please follow us there. I will share with you that during this event, we just dropped a Mission Impossible themed advertisement featuring our CEO running through the streets of San Francisco. I've not watched it yet because I've been in this meeting, but those are the kinds of things we drop on a regular basis. And then also on YouTube, lots of product and feature walkthroughs, lots of fun brand stuff that we're always sharing. So highly encourage you to take these three actions today. We want to feature your gammas. We are always looking for incredible things that you have created yourself, especially interested in the work of consultants. You saw that a week ago, I collaborated with Emily Fabiano. We wrote a whole article about the course she created in Gamma. The easiest way to get on our radar is to yeah, this is the QR code. We also have a link here. We will share it with you in our communication after the event. But if you ever create something great, just please share it with us. Not only might we feature it in a future like launched with Gamma article, but we're also creating an inspiration page on our marketing site, so people can see real gammas that our users are creating. We are always impressed, and we are always learning from our users. So if you have anything you want to show off for any reason, share it here and we will look at it, right away, and sometimes get back to you. But other than that, my message to you is to go forth and create. And when you do create, use that share button, so you can firstly share your creations with other people, let them know about using Gamma. And of course, you can do that just by going to gamma.app. Thank you all for attending, especially those of you who are calling in at 3 a.m. Follow-up email with the recording, some additional links, possibly a survey. We always want to hear from you on how to make these events better. I think that future events will be more focused on individual users, your gammas, your use cases. This is just kind of a high-level introduction for our consultant friends. So thank you so much for making time for this. Gamma is nothing without its users. And thank you again to Allison for leading this event, and to Amanda for running our community. Thank you all so much.